Hey guys, welcome to Pistons Talk Podcast post-game show. Hope you guys are having a great night. Man, what a game by the Detroit Pistons. They played the New York Knicks at home on Slam Magazine night. Really cool event. I think it was also Detroit Pistons Arab night. There's tons of theme nights. If you went down to Little Caesars Arena tonight to see the Pistons play the Knicks. But let's get into these. This is post game show. I want to start with the first quarter because something that I saw is we have all of our players back. Everyone was healthy except Jaden Ivey. We'll talk about Jaden Ivey towards the end of this podcast, but Tobias was back and it was very noticeable, especially on the glass, and he did contribute quite a bit tonight. So it's great to see Tobias back. I was kind of worried about his Achilles tendinopathy. I didn't know how serious it was going to be, but it's good to see that he was out there. And I mean, he was hitting some corner threes tonight. He was, going low, down low in the post, scoring, taking advantage of smaller defenders. So Tobias looked really great tonight. Jalen Duren, I think we have to talk about it. Him and Cade, I feel like impacted this game so much. Ron Holland and Dennis Schroeder as well. But Duren really started off this game red hot. The first 6 points were all Jalen Duren baskets. I can't say I've said that this season. He's looking to be way more aggressive, and I love it. We talked with Corey Woods over the weekend, and we talked about our X factors, and he had mentioned Jalen Duren. And when you're getting this type of energy and this type of effort from Jalen Duren, that's huge. Getting 18 points from him tonight, huge, because he's not a guy that you know scores that much night in and night out. But when you do get that type of performance from him, it does really help. Cade was also very hot in the first quarter. They both finished with 8 points to end that first quarter. But something that I saw is that the Knicks really didn't want to give the Pistons opportunities to run. And they did that for about three-ish quarters. And there was a lot of turnovers. I think if the Pistons could have it over, where I'm not too overly concerned, it's just bad passes, miscommunication, and they can watch the film and clean that up. The Knicks defense really did force some turnovers. They played a lot of zone, a lot of communication, and really forced the Pistons in the half court. In the first, in the second quarter, they finished with the first quarter of a 35-29 point lead to end the first. Going into the second, the Knicks second unit did a hell of a job. They were really holding the Pistons from running in transition. They had them playing out of the half court for majority of the first and the second quarter. And then the Knicks backdoor cuts really hurt the Pistons. And the first time the Knicks faced off against the Pistons very early in the season, I don't know if you guys remember this game, but that's what they kept beating the Pistons on, was just backdoor cuts, backdoor cuts, backdoor cuts. And the Knicks looked to do that quite a bit, especially when Jalen Brunson was out there. And just they were shooting red hot from the field. Both teams were. Knicks almost shot 60% from the field. Pistons shot 55% from the field, but they still kept the game within six. Cade Cunningham had 16 points going into halftime. Jalen Duren had 12. It was 62-56. Knicks had that 6 point lead. Coming out of halftime, the Knicks came out and doubled their lead pretty fast. They had a 6 point lead, went up to an 11 point lead, and eventually up to a 13 point lead. And I think a big reason why the Knicks were able to get out to that lead was the turnovers in tight space. The Pistons were just making passes where the Knicks are just such a handsy team, and there was just so many opportunities for them to steal the basketball. And I think that's what happened. And I think what really changed in this second half was around the 6 minute mark for the Detroit Pistons. Ron Holland was very huge in this, and the running opportunities were actually there from the 6.5 minute mark all the way to the end of the fourth quarter. And they weren't there the first two quarters. Now, is that because Jalen Brunson didn't play for a majority of the second half, not sure. I'd like to credit the Pistons defense in grabbing rebounds, not giving the Knicks second chance points, and their ability to run and play the fast break. They went on a 12-3 run in 3 minutes, and the end of the second quarter on a 20-7 run after trailing 13 by the New York Knicks to eventually tie the game going into the fourth quarter. This was a tie game, believe it or not, 85-85 to end the third. And it's just the first 5 minutes. It looks like the Knicks were just really going to beat down the Pistons, but they never gave up. They kept finding ways to scrap and just get back into this game and eventually tie it. Going into the fourth, I thought the defense really stepped up, and I want to give this guy credit. You can look at his box score and say, like, what did Isaiah Stewart do tonight? He didn't really score a whole lot. What he did was he was on Karl Anthony Towns for a majority of the night, did a very good job of defending him. Cat only shot 2 for 7 when Isaiah Stewart was guarding him. And you could kind of see it on Cat's face. Like, Stu was getting into his head. Stu was just playing really good defense, protecting the rim, grabbing boards, and just being a defensive menace out there that we've come to love out of Isaiah Stewart. I thought Ron Holland, he had such a big fourth quarter. He had 13 points tonight. 10 of his points came in the fourth quarter. And this kid is just fearless. Like, he is such an X factor for this team night in and night out. Simone Fontecchio didn't play a whole lot of minutes. And JB really decided to, like, you know what? Ron's bringing the energy for us tonight. Tech doesn't have it. Tech only played 6 minutes. Ron finished with 22 minutes. And I felt like Ron Holland was a very big reason in the fourth quarter why the Pistons were able to get a lead and sustain a lead. His defense, just his scrappiness. There was a play in the corner where he knocked the ball off of Mikal Bridges. Really big defensive sequence. And you just love that out of a rookie. And we've had these conversations before with Simone Fontecchio. Like, is JB going to do that come playoff time? If Tech's not bringing it, like, do you just ride the hot hand in Ron Holland? Because every time this kid comes out, the energy is through the roof. He's just bringing just such great energy every time he's out there, and I love it. I think if I'm JB, it's going to be very difficult to keep Ron Holland, on that bench if he's going to be bringing that type of energy, scoring around the basket, and just impacting winning. And the final player I want to give a huge shout out to is Dennis Schroeder. I thought Dennis Schroeder's impact in the fourth quarter, we talked all season about getting a veteran point guard for this basketball team and why we thought it was important as fans is to get a Dennis Schroeder type player. And Dennis Schroeder, he only had 8 points tonight, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. So you're probably looking at the box score and you're probably asking yourself, why do you want to give Dennis Schroeder like a pat on the back? I just thought there were just timely possessions. There was a foul where PJ Tucker kind of threw him into the Knicks bench. He was laughing. There are just so many plays that don't show up in the box score for him and how he just really impacts the basketball game. And there were a couple plays where he was just deflecting passes by the New York Knicks and a very late shot clock violation. He went for a steal. He knew he couldn't get it, so he just tipped it all the way on the other side of the court, and the Knicks only had 6 seconds to do something about it. And, the Knicks got a shot clock violation. There was another one where he tipped it 0.8 seconds. They couldn't get anything off of it. I mean, just those type of savvy veteran plays that might not show up on the box score, I think really matter come playoff time. And I thought he was huge. You had an opportunity just to kind of ride the hot hand with him and Ron Holland out there in the bench unit. Closing out this game against the New York Knicks. The Knicks had their starters out there. Obviously, there was no OG Anunoby and others tonight, but they still had Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, and Mikal Bridges. But the Pistons come back after trailing 13 midway through the third quarter to defeat the Knicks 115-106. The Pistons have beat the Knicks 3 out of 4 times in the season series. Now, depending on what the playoff matchup possibly is, You could see a Piston Nick first round matchup, which is what I'm hoping for, me personally. And I've told you guys before why I would like to see a Detroit Pistons New York Knicks first round matchup. It's more of a national spotlight thing. I think, the Milwaukee Bucks, without Dame, he may or may not come back. They still have Giannis. They're a good basketball team. The Indiana Pacers, I know a lot of Pistons fans want that first round matchup, and I understand it from just a rivalry standpoint. I mean, if you grew up during the going to work era, those Piston Pacers uh, playoff matches were bloodbaths, and I could 100% understand why a Piston fan would want to, kind of have a Detroit Pistons versus Indiana Pacers first round matchup, and in the games that those two teams have played, um, those those teams don't like each other. There's always fight. There's always altercations at the end of the games, showboating by both teams. So I get it. I get it. But I think a Pistons Knicks first round matchup, to me, I'm here for it. I don't know about you guys. Just a hell of a win by this team to not give up, come back, find those running opportunities that weren't there in the first two quarters, and grab those rebounds, play defense, get into your game. Cade Cunningham again had over 30 points against the New York Knicks. He's averaged over 30 points per game against the Knicks in 4 regular season games. So he dropped 36 points tonight, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, but hell of a performance by Cade Cunningham. I do want to touch on the Jaden Ivey stuff because it did come out earlier today, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit more in depth um, on the podcast this weekend on Sunday. Um, so there was a medical release, excuse me. I'm just kind of scrolling on my phone to find it. So there was a PR medical release by the Detroit Pistons, and obviously Jaden Ivey was supposed to get evaluated in 4 weeks. The 4 weeks is up. The Pistons PR did make a media information available to the fans this morning, and it reads Pistons guard Jaden Ivey continues to make progress in his recovery from a broken fibula, which he suffered on January 1st against Orlando. He has been cleared for basketball activities and will now enter the beginning phase of reconditioning progression, along with continued progression of court work. Ivy's status will be updated in another 2 weeks. So there's a couple things we can talk about here, right? So obviously, we've seen the videos of him running on the court, standstill shots. He got reevaluated, so now he's medically cleared uh, to do basketball activities. It's obviously going to be light work. He's not going to be out there doing 5 versus 5 drills. He's just not. But this is an update, and is there a shot he could possibly play in the playoffs? I'm not sure. I think if I were to make an educated guess, I would need the Pistons to at least extend a series to 6 or 7 games. Then I think we could possibly see Ivy. Um, we have the play-in tournament next week. And the Pistons will have a good 4 to 5 days off. The playoffs start the 19th on Saturday. So not this. Let me check. I'm so bad at my math. It's only the 10th. So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, we could possibly see um, the NBA playoff start. And again, like I don't want to put too much stock. I don't want to get fans' hopes up because I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not pretending to be one or anything like that. But uh, maybe he could possibly come back if this game does get extended to a 6 to 7 game series. It just kind of depends who the Pistons do play and face. But the Pistons haven't ruled him out. They've given the appropriated medical updates throughout the season. They could have shut him down. They haven't. I think they're still hopeful that he could possibly come back. Getting ramped up to basketball activities is huge. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Never say never. But uh, just want to wrap up this Pistons post game podcast again. Pistons defeat the New York Knicks 115 to 106. They take 3 out of the 4 games in the season series against them. Their next game is a back-to-back against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, this game has actually been flexed to an ESPN game. Don't know if a lot of you guys know that. So, Pistons will be on national television against the Milwaukee Bucks. Should be a good game. Every game against the Milwaukee Bucks seems like it goes down to the wire. There's some kind of altercation or drama, but we're really excited to see how the Pistons look after, defeating a New York Knicks team against the Milwaukee Bucks. But until next time, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. And again, as always, go Pistons. Peace.